Well, we from the ACDP welcome the decision today. It's very belated. I mean, it's taken 10 years almost to give former President Zuma his day in court, but he's asked for it, and it will take place now. We also obviously see that no one is above the law, and this is a very important message that is to be sent. Even a former president can be charged for those commissions and those offences that took place. In this case, it was even before he became president. But we are also pleased from my side as a long-standing member of the Justice Committee that at long last the MPA has taken a decision. This decision should have been taken a long time ago, and we saw the indictment from the Supreme Court of Appeal on how the present NDPP advocate Shaun Abrahams had almost sided with former President Zuma in much of this litigation. So it's to be welcomed. We are seeing the wheels of justice turning. They turn slowly, but they do turn indeed.
And does this case or this decision today by the NPA at all restore any form of credibility in Shaun Abrahams? Do you think that after this he should be allowed to stay in his position, at least as far as the Concord case is underway regarding his credibility?
Well, it's highly unlikely, given that the SCA has already found that his appointment was irregular. And that obviously is another issue that might come up in former President Zuma's case, whether this decision itself can be contested. But we see, again, indictments coming from the SCA on Advocate Abrahams' performance. And of course, from our side, my sense in the Justice Committee, I've been deeply disappointed at his performance, particularly when it comes to state capture inquiries. You'll know I'm on the Eskom inquiry as well, and right from the time when the state of capture report came out, that was referred to the NPA and to the Hawks, and very little was done, and we now see the Guptas overseas. So I don't think he'll maintain his position. I don't think he should maintain his position. I think a clear-out should take place under the new Cyril Ramaphosa administration, and we need to ensure that our NPA credibility, its independence, that it will prosecute without fear, favor or prejudice, will be restored.
Of course, the first time that this case had been set aside was due to political interference. Do you think that any argument along those lines can be revived today in the wake of this decision, that this too is in itself politically motivated?
Well, I don't think so, if one has regard to the amount of evidence that was garnered, and of course the conviction of Shabby Sheikh those number of years ago, and the fact that he himself has indicated, Mr. Sheikh, that he will give evidence. I don't think there is political interference now. I think there was political interference before, and that prohibited and prevented this prosecution being brought a long time ago when it should have been brought, and that is way back in 2009. And it's sad that previous NDPP, such as Advocate Vusi Pikoli, who stood firmly and said the indictment should be brought, he was suspended and fired then relating to the prosecution of Police Commissioner Jackie Selebe. But then we saw the decision by Mr. Empershare, which was set aside as being irrational. This prosecution should have taken place a long time ago.
And of course, there are perhaps lessons to be drawn out of this case, especially when it comes to the extent to which opposition parties like yourselves are willing to go in holding organs of state accountable.
No, absolutely. And it is a new dawn. And from our perspective, and myself having been 18 years in Parliament, we need to be able to, as parliamentarians, hold the executive to account. And we need to ensure that our institutions are independent. And we've seen a lot of state capture of our institutions, such as the allegations against the NPA, the allegations against the Hawks, the allegations against SARS, and the lack of action that was taken when one considers the widespread state capture that took place. So this is a positive sign to restore the credibility of our institutions and to ensure that fraud and corruption is brought to book, no matter who acts, and no matter who commits that they must be brought to book, even if it is a president. And we're looking forward to seeing further prosecutions being brought when the allegations of state capture, as we've exposed in Parliament in the Eskom inquiry, that prosecutions should be brought. I've said continually that we don't have to wait for a commission of inquiry. There's enough evidence now already to start prosecute high-level MP, high-level ministers, and the involvement is already before us. So we're looking forward to urgent action being taken, not only in this case, but also arising from other allegations of state capture and broader corruption and fraud in our state institutions.
Well, let me thank you for your time on Newsnight tonight. ACDP's Steve Swart giving us his party's reaction to our breaking news story.